So this presentation is essentially about trying to use computational intelligence framework for optimal maintenance of large engineering systems. Maintenance of large engineering systems has always been a problem. Uh, and we all know that maintenance has an essential role in ensuring that engineering systems perform at expected levels of reliability, availability, and safety in a cost-effective manner and in keeping with the corporate demands. Appropriate maintenance also contributes towards the extension of components and systems. Maintenance of large engineering systems like aircraft, shipboard machinery, power plants, nuclear installations have unique set of requirements which have to be addressed to genuinely realize the benefits of maintenance. Now, over the last couple of decades, extensive work has happened in the field of maintenance, but there are problems with that. Now, it can be observed from a review of the above mentioned reports and papers that are there in these areas, that some of the maintenance models have simplified assumptions to suit the problem formulation in accordance with the requirements of classical mathematics. In certain other cases, they are analytically and computationally so intensive that they easily fall out of favor with maintenance practitioners and are therefore of mere academic interest. No, so that is what has happened to the maintenance engineering, that most of the research that has happened is purely, in some sense, quite academic. And in either of these cases, the extent to which classical maintenance models address the uncertainty of events, ambiguity of information, and the complexity of maintenance activity as a whole is very limited. So those maintenance decision parameters which are unique to multi-component complex large engineering systems have not been analyzed and presented to optimally deliver the required benefits of maintenance. Now, the recent researches that have happened in this area has recognized the need to overcome this anomaly. And there are critical, there are issues that are critical to the maintenance decision makers on the field, such as inadequate or inaccurate failure and maintenance data, uncertainties in planning and execution of maintenance related activities, competing and stringent requirements of different stakeholders. That means multiple objectives and constraints and increasing complexities of systems with diverse failure patterns, modes, and failure management strategies. So most maintenance decision models in literature pertain to single or two unit systems with the assumption that application to multi-unit systems would be an extension to the approach for single unit systems. However, such extrapolations do not yield realistic solutions, as we all know, owing to the complexities such as diversity of equipment types, dependencies between various equipment, and their design and operational features. And therefore, it is necessary to consider optimization of maintenance of large engineering systems as a whole and as a problem distinct from that of systems with single or small number of constituent units. So most of the times, the large engineering systems are designed as first of its kind systems without much statistical information to plan time-based preventive maintenance. And there aren't adequate knowledge that exists to determine the scope and strategies for equipment condition monitoring required to be provided to be able to carry out the maintenance effectively. Therefore, in the case of large engineering systems, there is a need to I would say ab initio identify maintenance decision parameters such as preventive maintenance intervals, maintenance resources such as workforce, and decision variables of the condition monitoring system. So in order to derive these desired benefits of maintenance of large engineering system, there is a need for comprehensive planning of maintenance infrastructure and framework for dynamic decision making. A conceptual design approach as undertaken in the development of any engineering system is to be adopted at the initial stages of development of maintenance systems too, particularly for e-maintenance platform. So with this small background, I think I'll move over Now, the scope of this presentation is, I begin with introduction, current practices for management of condition-based predictive maintenance, need for a paradigm shift, systems approach to maintenance, CBPM model using Markov process, multi-objective maintenance optimization using evolutionary algorithms, that is the genetic algorithm, discussion of results and conclusion. Now, we are all aware of the issues that relate to conventional preventive maintenance practice. The decision is based on statistical measures, dependence on data. Obviously, if it is based on statistical measures, there is a heavy dependence on data, and then there are issues with imprecision, inaccurate data, difficulty to get data, and the possibility of maintenance-induced errors. You carry out maintenance, maybe an over-maintenance, you go in for an overkill, and then you have maintenance-induced errors. And in spite of these maintenance that we carry out, based on conventional preventive maintenance, the in-service failures cannot be ruled out. And there is, of course, the likelihood of over-maintenance. Now, we would in any case like to avoid unnecessary maintenance because there is always the possibility of errors in conducting maintenance. So how much is the right maintenance? What is the right time for maintenance? And just-in-time maintenance, you don't want to go in for an overkill, but at the same time, you don't want not to do something which is required. So just-in-time maintenance and logistic readiness. When you are waiting for the resources to become available, there can be multiple failures as well, and therefore, logistic readiness is a very important aspect as far as the preventive maintenance and other maintenance activities are concerned. Now, there has been a paradigm shift, so to say, from scheduled or planned preventive maintenance based on statistical measures to condition-based predictive maintenance based on observed system condition. So I mentioned to you with the issues of an overkill and then trying to, kind of underestimate it. So the best thing is to do a just-in-time maintenance, so that there are no maintenance-induced failures and there are no in-service failures, so which all obviously add to overheads in terms of cost and so on. Now, the research and application today in condition-based predictive maintenance, there are lots of systems which are highly sophisticated, complex, and have many features which relate to signal acquisition and processing, but they are largely dedicated to standalone condition monitoring. For some component or for a small subsystem, the condition monitoring system can be deployed. And therefore the coverage available for selected sub-assemblies only. At the system level, you don't know what is the performance. When would it be that the system is going to fail? So, and then there is little or no corroboration of diverse signal which are obtained from these processing equipment, standalone condition monitoring systems. Primarily because there is no integration of condition monitoring signals at system level. Now, the implementation experience as on date is, although there are quality signals which are available from these sophisticated equipments, but they have limited information about subsystem condition, and the accuracy of diagnosis is very low, and therefore prognosis, is just for the name's sake. So there is hardly any kind of prognosis. So high investment at the system level. When I say prognosis, it is at the system level. Maybe at the component level by trending in performance and so on, you can figure out, when would roughly be the time to failure. But at the system level, there is hardly any prognosis. So, and added to that, there is a very high investment on equipment and expertise. Expertise is not so cheaply available. You know, they are very expensive. So low returns in terms of system level availabilities. So at the level of the system, there are very low returns on investments. So you want high availabilities and you put in a lot of money and then you don't get those availabilities, and plus there is very little return on the investment. ROI is very low. So this is just to give you an example. There's this exhaust analysis, then diesel generator set, then there's a diesel generator set, and you carry out all kinds of analysis, which is oil analysis to figure out if there are some particles, and the vibration analysis, and the exhaust analysis, and the system performance analysis, and the motor health analysis. So, and you have the results, but what is the inference about the diesel generating set? Very little in terms of the performance. So there's this issue that although you have component level results, but at the system level results, you don't have much. Now, a range of sophisticated equipment to enable this condition-based predictive maintenance is available. So the big question is, does the use of such equipment alone guarantee the effectiveness of condition-based predictive maintenance? It has been estimated that about in the US, around more than $2.5 billion are being spent on condition monitoring, and 15 out of 500 companies achieved measurable returns on investment. And I mean, it is estimated that there is possibility with proper use of these systems and methods to ramp it up to 60%. But as of now, only 15 out of the 500 companies achieved measurable return on investment. So the second paradigm shift is to move from standalone condition monitoring coverage for disparate entities of large plants to holistic and systems approach. We need a systems approach, not a component or a subsystem level condition monitoring for large plants. Now, it obviously implies that the gaps between maintenance objectives and corporate objectives have to be bridged. Maintenance objectives may be to reduce the corrective maintenance, with respect to the total maintenance, and to probably know the preventive maintenance intervals and the diagnostic and the prognostic features of the condition monitoring system have to be realized. But corporate objectives are primarily in terms of availability. What should be the plant availability, and therefore the productivity, and therefore the cost, and so on. So the maintenance objectives have to be aligned with the corporate objectives, and then the gaps between the sophisticated condition monitoring equipment, the training, research, design, evaluation, and the policy for upgrades have to be built into that framework to bridge that gap. So maintenance objectives cannot be independent of the corporate objectives, and they have to be aligned to the corporate objectives, and therefore they kind of form a subset of these corporate objectives. Now, therefore, design condition monitoring systems for these large engineering plants for the plant as a whole, and not as a collection of condition monitoring systems for the constituent part. And we should be able to use all available inputs and provide actionable decision support to meet the overall objectives of the plant, make significant improvements in plant reliability, availability, and cost reduction. And of course, we need to reduce duplication and dissonance. So what is the systems approach to condition-based predictive maintenance? To use the resources, expertise, information, And then, of course, you have the decision support system for maintenance decision. And the outputs are essentially in terms of reliability, availability, and cost. Resources is not merely the workforce and the condition-based predictive maintenance system, which is integrated at the design stage itself of the large engineering system. It has to be integrated in the design stage itself, and the expertise, but the information as well, information which is very scant, information which is imprecise, information which is inadequate. So we have to deal with these issues at the input stage. So, as I mentioned to you, that the condition-based predictive maintenance system has to be integrated at the design stage of the engineering system itself. So, we start with the condition monitoring system requirements definition. And of course, we are aware of the physical plant hierarchy, and then based on the physical plant hierarchy, I mean, I'm just trying to elaborate on the framework. You know the plant level fault tree, and therefore, you know the components and the sub-assemblies which experience certain failure modes, and therefore, you know the physical location, the failure location, and therefore the physical disposition of the sensors on those locations. And because of the failure modes, you know the failure symptoms, and therefore the functional specification of the sensors, and then selection of condition monitoring devices for fault signal acquisition, then integration of sensor outputs, then evaluation of detectability and prognostic ability. So these are condition monitoring system features or performance features, which would be required to provide those corporate objectives of reliability, availability, and cost. Cost optimization. So obviously we are trying to, optimize the multi-objective optimization of plant performance under condition monitoring. So it's a multi-objective optimization. You want to minimize cost, you want to maximize availability, you want to minimize corrective maintenance, and at the same time, these competing stakeholder objectives with the constraints, the constraints have to be kept in mind in terms of those condition monitoring features, in terms of those, predictability and detectability, those features of condition monitoring. So let's take some small example. This is the generic hierarchy of a plant which constitutes of systems, and the systems constitute of several subsystems and the assemblies and the sub-assemblies and sub-sub-assemblies, and then down to the component level. And it is at the component level we are basically talking in terms of physical disposition of sensors, the failure mode, the fault location, and so on. So for example, a captive power plant with 3 diesel generator sets, maybe say you can say, a call center where, for example, you require that the power should be available, high availability. So you have multiple diesel generator sets. So DG sets basically would constitute our subsystems like diesel engine, generator, cooling water system. And we expand a part of this tree, cooling water system. Then you have the water cooler, then you have the raw water pump, then the motor, the pump, the casing, the rotor, bearings, pump shaft, impeller, and seal at the component level. Now let's take, for example, the plant fault tree. The captive power failure would happen if all the 3 diesel generator sets fail, and we expand part of the fault tree. For example, the diesel generator set could fail if there is a failure of the diesel engine, failure of generator, failure of the cooling system, failure of cooling water, failure of raw water pump. So eventually we would lead to fault locations, failure mode, and the failure cause, and therefore the kind of sensors that have to be deployed. The lubrication failure, that means to measure the lubricating oil flow, the level, the lubricating oil pressure, the overheating, due to temperature, aging and pitting due to shock pulse and vibration misalignment, then bearing material failure, acoustic emission. So you have the physical disposition of sensors, and the selection has to be made based on this compilation. So you have fault locations, failure modes, and the parameters to be sensed, at three-dimensional view. Now, this selection would depend upon the availability of technology, supportability, redundancy, cost effectiveness. There's a lot of price variation as well. Now, condition monitoring signals are to be amenable for integration to yield tangible fault detection and failure prognosis. So you need integration of relevant condition indicators, for diagnosis, and then integration of relevant condition predictors for prognostic information. So you have detection and prognosis, and you have the sensor output signals for knowing the condition, for detection, and the detection as an input to prediction. Now, the detectability and prognostic ability, these are the features of the condition monitoring, condition-based predictive maintenance system, which has to be integrated into the design of the large engine plant. So the detectability and prognostic ability, these are characterized and quantified. Now, detectability is a weighted sum of effectiveness and accuracy. The predictability and diagnostic ability, they relate to the prognostic ability to tell you the time at which the failure can happen. For that, the diagnosis should be correct, and the predictability in terms of, the time at which the failure can happen, and there should be very low forecasting error. So these are the features, by which it can be characterized. We all know that certain these features can also be statistically arrived at, but statistically arriving at these to quantify these features is a very complex issue, and then there are issues with data in terms of imprecision and unavailability and inaccuracy and so on. And therefore we want to avoid this route of trying to go through statistical compilation. Now, detectability can be proposed as a weighted sum of effectiveness and accuracy. Detectability of the condition monitoring system of the impending failure in the module using a certain technique, and effectiveness of detecting the impending failure in module using the condition monitoring technique. So similarly, the prognostic ability, in terms of diagnosability, diagnostic ability, and the predictability. So both detectability and predictability can be derived from statistical measures and fuzzy measures. So historical data of successful detection of impending failures of the module being one of the set of condition monitoring techniques. And fuzzy measures are primarily because the historical data is difficult to find, and the same can be obtained from experts through fuzzy expert elicitation techniques. You go to the plant and you talk to the maintenance crew, you talk to the plant operating crew. They have loads of ideas about the equipment, the system, what technique suits, and what gives correct diagnosis, and what can help tell us when the failures can happen. But that has never been basically taken into the framework for trying to establish the features of the condition-based predictive maintenance system. Is what we intend to do. So let's take an example of a plant which consists of systems, subsystems, assemblies, subassemblies, and components. And The aim of the proposed condition monitoring system would be to provide comprehensive coverage of the plant health, identify optimal condition monitoring system for maximizing plant availability and minimizing the cost of predictive maintenance system. So, of course, the steps would be primarily to design preliminary design of the condition-based predictive maintenance system, modeling the plant, formulation of objective functions, multi-objective optimization, decision support from plant optimization. So the steps, physical hierarchy of the plant fault tree, and so on. We have discussed that as well. Now, model of the plant condition-based predictive maintenance system. So the module, it can have various modules, the system. So you take a module. Now we have devised those features. Is the condition within threshold value? So if it is not, then we go in for increased rate or continuous condition monitoring. Then again, we keep checking the threshold. And if it is not, then it could require maintenance level, preventive maintenance or with an increased condition monitoring. It can require more prognostic features, and therefore that would basically imply that there is a logistic delay. And if the condition is not within the threshold, it could lead to catastrophic failure and corrective maintenance. So that could also happen while you are waiting for the logistic delay, while you are waiting for the logistics. So we try to model the plant using Markov process. And the basic idea is that you want to incorporate the corporate objectives with the condition monitoring design objectives. Condition monitoring design with those condition monitoring features have to be incorporated into the corporate objectives, so that to realize those corporate objectives, what are the condition-based predictive maintenance features that are required to be integrated into the large engineering system. So this is the kind of modeling. So we can describe a little more about it. So, for example, one of the module which is under operation, it could be under inspection, and it can be detected with onset of a fault, but is operational. So, so if it is not within the thresholds, then it can go for a higher level of inspection, and it could be found that in conditions that will need a certain level of preventive maintenance but is waiting for the same due to logistic delays. A little more description of the condition-based predictive maintenance system integrated the corporate objectives in terms of a Markov model. So you have these states and you have these transitions. You can see there is an operational state, there is an operational state of logistic delays, there is an operational state for preventive maintenance, there is a state of catastrophic failure, there is a state of increased inspection, and so on. So, some of these features, for example, failure rates, etc., necessarily have to be obtained from the data, which are again sourced to statistical measures. So not that all the data is primarily obtained through expert elicitation, but some of the data which is quite well standardized and documented and is available either from the supplier or the manufacturer or from standards, that data can be used. But at the same time, we also use in this model the prognostic ability and the detectability, because those are the features which we would like to arrive at for the condition monitoring predictive system, which needs to be integrated into the large engineering system, say on an e-maintenance platform. Now we have various objectives, which could be competing with each other, and there are multiple stakeholders. So this is the unavailability of the plant. The unavailability is primarily due to the delays and due to the failures that can happen. The corrective maintenance, catastrophic failures, and then the cost. The cost due to cost which arises due to the diagnostic features, the prognostic features, the preventive maintenance, then the logistic delays, and the catastrophic failures of the plant. So in this, for example, we take these competing stakeholders, unavailability and the cost of the condition-based predictive maintenance, but you could also add, for example, the corrective maintenance to the total maintenance. You would want to minimize the breakdown failures, minimize the breakdown failures altogether. So that could be another objective, but we just taken, for example, two of them. Then we use genetic algorithms, the evolutionary algorithms, to obtain the Pareto optimal front. And so the results that you would get, for example, these are the decision variables which can be made available to the decision makers in the maintenance at the management level as well. What would be the relative cost and the unavailability with which you can live with, and the cost implication. Then if you desire certain unavailability, or in terms of if you desire certain availability, what are the possibilities in terms of average detectabilities and average prognostic abilities, the condition monitoring system. So the relative cost rate, so you also need to see the sensitivity of the cost with respect to these features of diagnostic ability, prognostic ability. So average predictability versus unavailability. So probably at the end of it, you would probably arrive at various scenarios, and from which you can select from which the manager or the company stakeholders can select an option in terms of unavailability, cost, detectability, and prognostic ability. So the maintenance decision maker or the maintenance system planner will have to consider the following: the unavailability, the cost considerations, considerations of detectability and prognostic ability features of the condition monitoring system, the feasible values of detectability and prognostic ability features, which can be quantified on the basis of expert elicitation as shown below. So they have to be quantified. The quantification is very important. So, well, this is finally the scenario which can be which can be selected, for example, by some stakeholders. In conclusion, I would just like to add that comprehensive systems approach is essential. We should move from standalone condition monitoring to a system or a holistic approach to condition-based predictive maintenance system, because that's what can be integrated onto a e-maintenance platform, in large engineering plants. So domain-specific research and development is synergy between domain experts. So much of the results has been seen from whatever is available in terms of literature, that the success depends also on the domains on which they have been applied. So it also suggests that the domain experts play a very critical role in this, in trying to maximize the synergy. So use of hard and soft and advanced computing techniques and simulation for optimal system development can bridge the gap between advanced condition monitoring tools and techniques and maintenance requirements. So in this case, for example, in the detectability and the prognostic ability, we have used fuzzy inference system to quantify the detectability and prognostic ability. For example, a fuzzy inference system with positive detection probability and false alarm probability would lead to detectability, and then you define the rules and then be able to quantify that. And likewise for prognostic ability, the lead time, the forecast error, and the diagnostic ability would lead to the quantification. Defuzzification would lead to the quantification of the prognostic ability, which constitute the features or the characteristics of the condition-based predictive maintenance system, which needs to be integrated into the plan at the design stage itself. So thanks very much. The time is short. I had also to hurry up. Thank you.
Asharuddin sir,